Welcome back to Fiberglass Farms, where we have a taste of fiberglass and a taste of aluminum, and we've got metal cars, and we've got everything out here. They end their life elsewhere, they come back here to be saved, and they go on to magnificent documented histories and shows. In fact, each year we're proud to be part of either Amelia Island, Pebble Beach, or both. I think this year we're going to be both, the Concours d'Elegance. We're standing next to a Seagull, and to talk about the Seagull, which I made a few of, we've only ever found, Nick Whitlow and I, only found two. I mentioned Nick's name because Nick is the exemplary restorer and historian for these cars, and has done a book with Gene Winfield about the most famous CRV Piranha, which was made for the man from Uncle car. But the CRV Piranha is where these cars started and where this design came from. And the CRV Piranha started about 1964. Man from Uncle was what the Gene Winfield car, Gene had customized a coupe very attractively for the use in the show, and the car is restored and shown today. They were also a race car, which is still raced out west, that is been found and, of course, restored and shown. And the dragster, the CRV dragster is restored as well, and that's up north of us at the Don Carlitz Museum in Ocala, Florida. So what's interesting about these cars is they're very attractive. It was an original design. See, but in the 1950s, we have cars like the ones behind us, the La Sieta, the Victra C2 Coupe, and so forth, all original design, but by the 1960s, they were clones, beautifully done or inspired by other cars. This was an original design. The Shark, another car we have, is original design. The Canera, another original design. But by the 60s, the original designs in the 60s were almost non-existent. It went from 98% of the 50s to like 5% in the 1960s. And that's what I've always been attracted to by this car. Originally, the CRV Piranha was going to be made out of Cycolac. In fact, I think CRV stood for the Cycolac Research something, CRV. And it was a Borg-Warner company, and they were trying to promote the use of plastics, hard plastics. You put it in a form, make the plastic, pull it out. There's no fiberglass laying up or anything. And in fact, we found some. They're almost non-existent, because guess what happens to plastic after 50 years? It becomes brittle. The race car is brittle out west, and we're always worried about that, the one that's racing. And then I found one. Did I find it or Nick found it? I think Nick and I found it. I believe it was on Bring a Trailer. Dennis Kasmarowski bought it, and he traded it to one of ours for a Seagull. The CRV for the Seagull fiberglass body was a later one, like this one. And it was restored, and recently it's up and being shown in, not race, but shown in over in Europe by Cohen Mole, part of our Undiscovered Classics aficionados and part of our group. So in fact, he has two of them. He's got a body and the one he restored. The one he restored, though, was of the plastic. The one the body has is out of fiberglass. The CRV Cayman Roadsters, you could get it in a coupe, the CRV Piranha, and then later on it was acquired by a company in Kansas. I think the company was called Allied. Still very attractive car. And Nick and I have only ever found two Seagull bodies. That's what this is, made from that later company. Kind of an awkward, larger windshield, and slightly, the headlight treatment is pulled back from the original and much more attractive to begin with, but still a very attractive car. There were also, I believe, there's no hinges here. So Nick and I were talking about this. It doesn't look like there are any windows or anything built in, at least on this one. The other one might have had windows, but you can see where this would lend itself easily to be putting windows and kind of open up like some of the gull-wing cars back in the day. But it's not gull-wing so much as gull-wing windows. Here would have been a door, and some of the CRVs had doors cut in, and that you open up and make it easier to get in. I'm 6'2". I can kind of get in. I'm getting too old, though. Yeah, I'm 6'2". No, I'm not 6'2". I'm 6 foot. I'm 62. That's where the 6'2" comes in. So I could get in this car. Getting out of the car would be a problem. We would need other people from Undiscovered Classics to help lift me out or drag me out or make fun of me. Any of those things are possible. This is a very simple design. Like I said, we've only ever found evidence of two of the Seagulls and a Seagull body. So they are exceedingly rare. The other one that we know of was last spotted at a truck stop in Kansas on a dark night that Nick Whitlow has pictures of, and I think he shared on his website. This one, when it became available many years ago, I stayed in touch with the owners until we had a chance to acquire the car. And I believe it's actually, we're not going to restore this one. I believe Richard Brown is going to. We're doing swapping for some things back and forth. Richard has recently attended the Amelia Island Concours with his Jewel, along with his wife, Gina and Richard. We got the Jewel done, 1949 or 50. And last year he brought the Thor. So he's starting to get much more interested in showing these cars with us at the big shows out there across the country. Mike's opening up the fantastic VW power plant, which is outstanding for this car. Looks like it hasn't even been run. Everything's still on it. We always wonder, should we upgrade it to a Porsche? but I'll leave that to Richard Brown and his crew. But this car looks like it was just built, put together, and then parked in a barn. First time we saw it, it had been in a barn covered in dust for, I don't know, it looked like decades. This would have been around 68 to 70. I don't know if the license plate shows what year it was or not. Is there a license plate on it? There's a propeller on it. Not sure what the Texas plate says, but
no year.
No year on that one. So if you like original designs and you like the stylish space age kind of, I always thought this is kind of a space age, almost dune buggy, but it really is a sports car. The original designs in the 60s would be I think there's less than 10 of them when I made a list. And this is one of them. And if you can find one, what a attractive little car it would make for you back at your home. All right, so this is the CRV change into the Seagull. Let's take a look. Years ago, we actually, after we sold the body to Cone Mold over in Europe of the original CRV body, before we did, we made a mold from it. So check it out. You can pan over there to the mold. It's in the sun. I'm not used to the sun in Florida. But we have one right here. And there was an upper and lower half, and you can tell from the Seagull, if you look back at the pictures, you'll see there's an upper and lower half, and they've got a band of steel and rubber around it. And this is actually the mold that we had, and we've produced a few bodies from this already. And we have some molds out here. We have some bodies out here. After all, our phrases, a couple phrases for forgotten fiberglass farms is fiberglass farms, we know where the bodies are buried. But they aren't buried in this case. So this was an upper. You're looking at the exterior part of the mold. You open it up, and the very smooth part and such is all waxed inside, and you produce an upper half and a lower half. That's how the original ones were made in plastic. We make them in fiberglass. And the later ones, like the Seagull that we're looking at, that we've just been looking at during this video, are done in fiberglass too. Only the very first, probably 5 or 10 cars, Nick would know exactly, were made in the plastic, and then they converted to fiberglass molds, or used the molds to lay up in fiberglass, one or the other. So that's how they're made in 2 halves. That's how we've made them, and we can make more. If you contact us, if you're interested, we can make more. We have the bodies. Isn't that what Arby's thing is? We have the bodies. So you can see here, I've forgotten, I think it's an 88 inch wheelbase. I have to check.
Pan, right?
It's a VW pan, and I believe it's shortened because VW is a little bit longer than that. Might even be able to see in here, but there's some water in there right now. But you can see the upper and lower half here pretty easily. So. Well, this is a coupe, so if it's removable, it is not removable now. There's a couple screws in it, so you could take it off. So another question would be, is it meant to be a true roadster? And the answer would be yes. And then you can make it a kind of a coupe like this with a stylish back. But only the Seagull had that. The CRV had some other treatment. Original CRVs had headrests that were kind of oval shaped, which were very attractive in some of the color photos. This is something that is not attractive. It's done for the VW. The original CRV Piranhas didn't need that, and so it was smooth back here, or vents. Some of the ones, there was one done with a Renault drivetrain. A Renault drivetrain sticks up. It's a small conventional engine, so they needed the bump as well. A little bit smaller bump, but a bump like that to accommodate the rear engine car.